Mic in hand. Mic in hand. Something's about to boom. Tell me what you gotta say. Tell me, make it count today. Big Tony speaks, and everybody listens. Big Tony speaks, his voice just keeps on lifting. When Tony talks, you know you gotta hear him. Big Tony speaks. Sit right down, let me hear your voice. Share your thoughts, Tony gives you choice. Tell me what you gotta say. Tell me, make it count today. You always speak, Big Tony speaks, and everybody listens. Big Tony speaks, his voice just keeps on lifting. When Tony talks, you know you gotta hear him. Big Tony speaks. Big Tony speaks. He's got something to say every single day. He's got something to say. Come on out and play. Big Tony speaks, and everybody listens. Big Tony speaks, his voice just keeps on lifting. When Tony talks, you know you gotta hear him. Big Tony speaks. Big Tony speaks. Big Tony. Big Tony speaks. Here comes Tony, walking in the room.
Welcome to Big Tony Speaks. Let me turn this up. I'm going to turn it up so loud that it's hitting so hard. Somebody listening in a 1998 Honda Civic has to pull over and physically apologize to their speakers. As I said, welcome back to Big Tony Speaks, the only news show where I don't report the news. I put the news on trial. It is Wednesday, August 26th, 2026, and I have reached a conclusion, y'all. Human civilization is not collapsing. That's too organized. We're just freestyling badly. You know, every morning I wake up, look at the news, and I ask the same question. Who gave these people permission to leave the house? Apparently, we have entered an era where a grown adult can look at a polar bear, a crossbow, a pile of gold, a donkey, or a Wi-Fi router and say, you know what this situation needs? And then they make it dramatically worse. So today we have gold bars mistaken for garbage, a husband getting shot in the neck by his wife during a circus act, a stolen Picasso abandoned in an apartment, a tourist who looked at a sleeping polar bear and thought, that thing needs a wake-up call. Harvard running a human remains black market, a grim reaper stalking hospital patients, a bear breaking into a house for fried chicken, 3 tons of illegal watermelons, a 6-foot iguana exploding out of a shipping box, a bison taking over suburbia, and a donkey. A donkey that apparently woke up one morning and decided, today I become a highway criminal. So grab your drinks, secure your valuables, Lock your doors, hide your chickens, and if you're currently standing anywhere near a crossbow, put it down because humanity has once again gathered around the fire of stupidity and said, let's throw gasoline on it. Let's begin in Belgium, where a group of construction workers were digging a sewer line inside of an old building. They're down there doing honest work, shoveling dirt, breaking walls, breathing whatever ancient basement fungus grows in European buildings that were constructed before indoor plumbing was invented. And then, bang, their shovel hits a brick wall. Well, they break through, and behind it, gold. Not a gold coin, not a little wedding ring, not somebody's forgotten high school class ring. No, no. I'm talking about a quote, massive stash of ancient gold coins and solid gold bars worth approximately 10.4 million. $10.4 million dollars. Here's where the story becomes a full blown documentary about human stupidity. These geniuses apparently mistook the gold bars and coins for ordinary euros. Let me make sure everybody understands this. They found gold coins. You know what gold coins look like? They look like the physical embodiment of the phrase, I have too much money. They're heavy. They are shiny. They have markings on them. They have the approximate visual appearance of something that belongs inside a bank vault guarded by 12 men named Victor. And these guys apparently looked at him and thought, it's probably money. Probably money. What did they think it was? A very aggressive doorstop? Were the gold bars just bricks made by the world's wealthiest mason? Imagine holding $10 million in your hands and not realizing it. You could be holding enough wealth to completely alter the trajectory of your family for generations. And instead, you're standing in a wet basement wearing work boots thinking, well, that's weird. This euro is awfully heavy. That is not a euro. My brother, that is a retirement plan right there. That's a beach house. That's a private jet with your initials embroidered into the headrests. That's enough money to make your financial advisor develop a nervous twitch. And instead of quietly investigating their discovery, they apparently contacted the authorities. Which, now, to be fair, y'all, that's probably the legally correct thing to do. But emotionally, I would have become a ghost. For real, y'all. My supervisor would be calling the next morning, Tony, where are you? I'd say, I don't work there anymore. Well, what do you mean? I've discovered a new career. Doing what? Being extremely wealthy. And let me tell you something else. If I find $10 million buried behind a wall, I'm I'm not digging a sewer line. I am not going back to digging the sewer. The sewer is now someone else's problem. Of course, I'm probably buying the building next door, buying the shovel, buying the company, and I'm putting a plaque up on the wall. Big Tony discovered this and immediately stopped working. Now let's head on over to Middletown, New York, because apparently Belgium wasn't stupid enough for one day. We now have a circus performer who was accidentally shot in the neck by his own wife, y'all, during a live sharpshooting performance. That's right, his wife, his performance partner, because apparently marriage counseling was unavailable. Picture this: you're sitting at a county fair, children are eating their cotton candy, people are walking around holding lemonade. I apologize for that if you heard it. I know it was loud. People are walking around holding lemonade, and somebody's grandmother is complaining about the parking. Then the circus announcer says, Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our amazing sharpshooting duo. And you're expecting trick shots, maybe balloons, maybe apples, maybe somebody shoots a cigarette out of somebody's mouth. Instead, thunk, crossbow bolt, neck. The man's wife just turned their marriage into a medieval reenactment. You can imagine the argument later. Honey, you shot me. It was an accident. You shot me in the neck. I said it was an accident. Okay. Now stop being dramatic. The truly unbelievable part is the ringmaster trying to reassure everybody afterward. He reportedly he reportedly described the injury as being somewhat like getting your ear pierced. Your ear. My friend, that is not an ear piercing. If your wife shoots you in the neck with a crossbow and somebody says, don't worry, it's basically jewelry, you need to leave the circus. You need to leave that marriage. You need to leave the zip code, probably even the country. Because at that point, your workplace has become an OSHA complaint with popcorn. For real, y'all. Now, let's take a trip over to Milwaukee. Milwaukee, A landlord named Tim Dirts was cleaning out an apartment after evicting a tenant. You know, normal landlord stuff. Trash everywhere, old mattresses, pizza boxes, the archaeological remains of approximately 17 frozen burritos. Then he finds a painting. He takes it to an antique dealer and discovers it's a genuine Picasso print. Estimated value $50,000. And here's the kicker, it had reportedly been stolen from a gallery years earlier. So, well, let's process this situation. Somebody was apparently living in an apartment where they couldn't pay the rent while possessing a priceless piece of art that had been stolen. And then they moved out and left the Picasso behind. What? That's not poverty. That's financial incompetence operating at Olympic levels. Imagine being so broke you can't make rent while sitting 6 feet away from $50,000. Honey, we're getting evicted. We could sell the Picasso. No. Why? I don't like the face. What face? It's Picasso. Everybody's face looks like it got hit by a delivery truck. That's literally the point. You could have sold the thing. You could have gotten legal help. You could have at least Googled it. Instead, nah, leave it. The landlord probably stared at that painting and realized he had just received the most financially confusing security deposit in human history. All right, let's go north now, way north to Norway, where apparently one tourist looked at a quote, massive polar bear sleeping peacefully on an ice floe. And he thought, you know what would make this better? A foghorn. A tourist reportedly blasted a high decibel marine foghorn directly at the bear. Why? What did you think was going to happen? Did you think that the polar bear was going to wake up and say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was Tuesday? No. That thing is 1,000 pounds of evolutionary hostility wearing white camouflage. It's not a dog. It's not a Labrador. You don't suddenly wake up a polar bear. You don't honk at a polar bear. You don't even look at a polar bear with an attitude. That bear is sitting there thinking, I am cold. I am hungry. My ice is disappearing. And now this idiot is honking at me. He got a $5,000 fine for that. $5,000 fine? Honestly, I think that's merciful punishment. The bear should have been allowed to issue the citation. The violation being profoundly stupid. Penalty, one boat. So let's talk technology because apparently your Wi Fi router has stopped being an internet appliance and started auditioning for the CIA. Scientists have demonstrated that Wi Fi signals can potentially be used to detect and infer human movement inside a space without traditional cameras. Let me tell you something. My Wi Fi can't reliably reach the upstairs bathroom, but apparently it can detect my movements. I have one router sitting in my living room. One. And somehow we're approaching the technological point where that little plastic box can say, Big Tony entered the kitchen. Big Tony opened the refrigerator. Big Tony has stared into the refrigerator for 11 seconds. Big Tony closed the refrigerator. Big Tony reopened the refrigerator. Big Tony is now eating shredded cheese directly from the bag. Stop monitoring me. I don't need my router knowing my midnight dietary decisions. That's between me, God, and the refrigerator. Now we enter the military recruitment department. Apparently, one Army unit offered re-enlistment incentives involving additional leave around the release of Grand Theft Auto 6. And I have to admire the honesty. Forget be all you can be. We're now approaching please re-enlist so you can play GTA. It's incredible. Private Johnson, why should you stay in the Army? Sir, I have tactical objectives. Good. And GTA 6 comes out Friday. Re enlist that man immediately. Imagine explaining this to somebody from 1950. We're giving soldiers extra leave so they can play a video game. What video game? A game where you steal cars and commit crimes. And you're encouraging soldiers to do this? Digitally. What does digitally mean? Nobody knows. Honestly, this might be, I don't know, the most 2026 recruitment strategy imaginable. Join the military, defend the nation, get 4 days off, steal a digital Lamborghini. America. Yeah, don't ever change. Actually, oh, maybe change a little. So now we have Harvard, Harvard University Medical School, one of the most prestigious educational institutions on the planet. And according to the reporting surrounding a massive settlement, former morgue manager was involved in a scheme involving stolen human remains. Let that sentence marinate for a minute. Harvard, the institution where parents spend enormous amounts of money so their children can become doctors, lawyers, scientists, and professionals. Meanwhile, apparently somebody in the basement decided, you know what this medical facility needs? A side hustle. Imagine walking into the Harvard morgue like it's a pawn shop. Hey, what can I get for this femur? Depends. How clean is it? Oh, very excellent. We can do $200. This wasn't eBay, y'all. It wasn't Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. This was allegedly a human remains operation involving actual medical donors. This is not a side hustle. It's, excuse me, it's a horror movie with a payroll department. Somewhere in the afterlife, the donors are looking down thinking, I specifically donated my body to science. Science says, we have bad news. Oh, Lord. Now we head on over to Wales. A 26-year-old man was reportedly arrested after dressing as the Grim Reaper, entering a hospital property, climbing onto the roof, and staring through windows at patients. That's horrifying. Imagine you're lying in a hospital bed. You got an IV in your arm. You got monitors beeping all around you. You're exhausted. And you look over to the window. Standing on the roof is death. Not metaphorical death, not philosophical death, not the nurse saying, Sir, your insurance deductible is due. Actual Grim Reaper, black robe, hood, everything. Just standing there watching. At that point, I'm pressing every button on that bed. Nurse, what's wrong? The Bible's here. And you know that guy put effort into the costume. He didn't just throw on a black hoodie, he committed. He probably stood in front of the mirror thinking, perfect, perfect. Sir, you are not terrifying. You are unemployed Batman. Go home. Now in Kentucky, yes, in Kentucky, because apparently bears have discovered DoorDash, a massive black bear reportedly entered a home and devoured an enormous amount of leftover fried chicken. Approximately 700 pounds of bear. And the bear didn't care about anything else. Vegetables? No. Fruit? No. Bread? Well, probably. But KFC? Absolutely. That bear smelled 11 herbs and spices and immediately became a home invasion specialist. Imagine waking up at night and hearing noises in the kitchen. You walk downstairs and there's a 700-pound bear eating your chicken. You don't scream. You don't negotiate. You don't ask him to leave. You stand there quietly and say, "Sir, would you like biscuits with that?" And then slowly walk backward. Because the bear has priorities, and right now you are not one of them. Over in Germany, 3 metric tons of illegally smuggled watermelons, 3 metric tons. Who's running this operation? Who is the Pablo Escobar of produce? Who's standing in a dark alley saying, "I need 6 kilos of seedless immediately"? You got the cash? Cash? I got cash. And suddenly a German police van arrives. Halt! Everyone runs. Watermelons rolling everywhere. A watermelon hits a police officer in the ankle. The officer looks down. We have a runner. This is the most wholesome criminal organization ever. Nobody's selling cocaine. Nobody's trafficking weapons. We're just moving enough watermelon to feed an entire county at a 4th of July picnic. Imagine getting arrested and having to explain it to your mother. Mom, I'm in trouble. What did you do? International produce trafficking? Drugs? No. Weapons? No. Then what? Watermelon. I raised an idiot. I really raised an idiot. Of course, now in Memphis, at FedEx, a package arrives. Heavy, large, normal enough. A worker opens the box, and out comes a 6 foot iguana. Not a lizard, not a gecko, not a cute little reptile that fits on your shoulder. A 6 foot dinosaur. Imagine being a FedEx employee at 4 in the morning, open a box expecting headphones. Instead, a prehistoric monster launches itself into your face. That's when you quit. No 2 week notice, no meeting with HR. Just you just take off your vest, set it on the floor, and say, "I'm going to need you to find another guy." The tracking notification must have been spectacular. Package status delivered. Second status, lizard loose. Third status, employees have abandoned the building. Fourth status, Titan now owns the Memphis facility. Of course, over in Virginia, an escaped bison wandered onto local roads and caused traffic chaos. A bison, one of nature's least cooperative vehicles. A fully grown bison does not care about your commute. You can honk, he doesn't care. You can flash your headlights, he doesn't care. You can yell, "Move," he will look at you like you move. That's the bison's entire philosophy, y'all. He is 1 ton of I was here first. Imagine being late for work because a bison is standing in the middle of the road. Your boss asks, "Why are you late?" The bison, "Excuse me?" The bison, "Did you hit one?" "No." "Did one hit you?" "Not yet." "Then why are you late?" "Because I enjoy being alive." And that's a legitimate excuse right there. And finally, in Germany, because apparently Germany decided the animal kingdom is no longer allowed to behave normally. Enter Freddy, a donkey, a rogue donkey. A donkey that reportedly charged onto a highway, confronted a delivery van, and caused a violent collision that injured multiple people. A donkey. This animal woke up and chose organized transportation crime. Imagine you're driving down the highway. Everything is normal. You're listening to the radio. Maybe you're thinking about dinner, that fried chicken you got, Then suddenly, donkey, not near the road, not beside the road, in your face. You slam the brakes. Freddy doesn't care. He has business to conduct. And then you have to explain to the insurance company what happened. "Oh, I was attacked." "By whom?" "Freddy." "Freddy who?" "The donkey." "Sir, I need you to be serious right now." "I am serious." "Was it a deer?" "No." "A horse?" "Worse." "What could possibly be worse than a horse?" "A donkey with a plan." And that's where we are now. Civilization has apparently reached the point where we have to worry about vehicular crime committed by farm animals. We thought artificial intelligence was going to take over the world. Turns out the donkeys got there first. And that, my friends, is the news. Not the important news, not the news that makes politicians angry, not the news that makes economists stare at spreadsheets until their souls leave their body. I'm talking about the news that makes you sit in your living room at 11:47 at night and whisper, "What the heck is happening to everybody?" We had $10 million in gold, a Picasso, a polar bear, a crossbow, a grim reaper, a Harvard morgue, 700-pound bear, 3 tons of watermelon, a 6-foot iguana, a bison, and a donkey named Freddy, who apparently believes German highways are his personal kingdom. And this is where we are. Humanity has officially become a group project where nobody read the instructions, y'all. And somehow, everybody got a passing grade. So remember, lock your doors. Don't honk at polar bears. Don't sell human remains. Don't leave valuable art in abandoned apartments. Don't open suspicious FedEx boxes. Don't challenge a bison. Don't commit watermelon crimes. And if you see a donkey approaching your vehicle at high speed, let him pass. That donkey has somewhere to be, and apparently he has the right of way. I'm Big Tony. This is Big Tony Speaks. If you enjoyed this beautiful disaster of journalism, hit the like button, subscribe, follow the show, share this episode with somebody who needs to be reminded that they're not the dumbest person on earth, because statistically, there's always someone dumber. And whoever keeps sending me these stories, keep doing it. If y'all have any stories like this that you want to see me present, please send them my way. The email is in my about section on my channel. Because apparently the planet has unlimited stupidity and I have unlimited airtime. Stay safe, y'all. Stay sane. And for the love of everything holy, don't give Freddie the donkey your car keys.
Here comes